Coming to talk about substance use among the, as you said, today's generation, substance use has become something like the order of the day. A lot of people, it has become so rampant in our societies that everybody is just on drugs. Like we feel like that's the way out, and then it's becoming a lifestyle, if I should say. I'm sure during those days, the older generation, there were drugs like that and all of that, but it wasn't really prevalent as it is now. So what has changed, and why are people sorting to drugs at this higher rates?
Yes, lack of coping mechanisms. And so sometimes among the younger people, these are the drivers of substance use related issues among them. Because sometimes peer pressure and curiosity, they want to belong. And once they want to belong, sometimes those they want to belong to are probably engaged in a behavior that is not appropriate. But for them, socially, this is what they want to be identified with. And so that desire to belong sometimes can be a reason that pushes some of the younger people. And you see, the human brain we are made to understand until it's in the mid-20s, it's not fully developed. And these young people we're talking about from 18 to about 20 years are often influenced. And because of the brain development related challenges, when you start experiencing this and for a very long time you're not able to do so much, what happens is this can linger on in your life for a longer time, and that is what results our young people into substances.
Tramadol has become something like you don't even need to go to the drugstore to get tramadol. Yes. And it's so sad. During our psychiatry rotation, we were taking a history from this guy. And then the guy actually, he took it for like, he was taking the drug for like 8 years. And then he now came to his senses. I don't know, all of a sudden he wanted to stop. And the thing about drugs is that you don't just get the effects during taking it. When you are withdrawing from the drugs, you have a lot of symptoms. And he was really going through it. At a point, he will start crying and then you are feeling for him. So this is how bad like drugs can actually be too. So I don't think this is something, even no matter what you're coping, you are not getting it, like it shouldn't be your last resort.
In the older generation, there were these substances. What happened? That they were not into. But you see, our today's generation have a certain attitude that is actually making it difficult and very difficult for people to give the best of support to them. And that is just because in our system, we have the readily available substances. Which are those substances? Like you mentioned, tramadol. You don't even need, some people have it. Our bodies are unapproved. They come from sources. And this actually make the drug readily available in the environment. And people, the term that is now leading, which we found in our study, is that shisha is now topping the chart when it comes to youth and substance use. And surprisingly for us was also the fact that we had a number of young ladies who were rather championing or leading in the area of shisha. Why are they doing that? They say that shisha is a flavor. It is a vanilla, banana, chocolate, but they forget that in that active ingredient called nicotine in cigarette is in shisha.
And suicide has become very rampant too in our society, and then I found out that we have about 800,000 deaths annually. That's globally, and then 71% of these deaths are usually from the low income and middle income countries. And then you find out that it's also the fourth leading cause of deaths among the ages of 15 to 19 years. And then this is actually like very surprising, like how someone will see death to be the last resort and you want to actually go in for death. And looking at even the age 15 to 19 years, this is very like, you've not even experienced life and then you already think the way of escaping reality is suicide. So I want us to delve more into this issue. Like, what is it about suicide that it has become like a very worrisome problem in our society?
Good. Brilliant data that you have provided, and this I know by now, even in the year 2024, I know these statistics will have changed because these we use these statistics as far back as 2022 when we were
So that means
they would have, I mean, this would have actually increased. But the reality is that these are still, even if it's one, you can just imagine what it means. These are, we may look at them as figures, but these are human life wasted. These are somebody's, people's children or relations. So it means that it is significant enough, even if there's one. But look at how huge that is. Look at the age bracket, 15 to 19. What does that mean? These are people that should be acquiring a skill, should be learning, and should be engaged in something positive. And what they can think about is that life is worthless. Let me end it all. I've just mentioned to you about the research that was done in Ghana. We found depression as number one among the young people. You see, anytime at all there is the issue of suicide, the underlying tone is depression. It's a mental health disorder. So means that if depression is leading the chart among young people's challenges, you will understand why. Majority of them often think that enough is enough. What at all giving out suicide ideation, it is an emergency for us, and we often will attend to it urgently, because if you don't do anything about it, what it means that the person will. And the issues of suicide have become so rampant among the young people because of the issues of depression, mental health undertone, the issues of coping mechanisms, the issues of lack of support systems. Some people are crying and people cannot even identify that somebody is actually calling for help. And what we can do at best is probably to mock at them, make it look like they are weaklings, but they are not. So what we actually need to do as a people is to, when we see that people are sending notes, they are calling, what they are immediately doing is calling for help. And what we need to do is to rally around and provide them the help. What can be the help that we can provide? Be available. Some people ask me, so what should I do? Yes, be available. As long
most of them are always like happy and glad they didn't do it. Like they are, when they are given that second chance, they appreciate it more and they are glad they never did it.
a little conversation. Can you remember all the positive things that have happened to you? Can you remember where you came from? You see, when you begin to ask, to push people to at this level, they may get to a point of wanting to say, okay, let me give it a second. We need to be cautious with the sort of language that we have. We give people. Sometimes even just appreciating somebody, acknowledging what somebody has done can change the whole story. 5 years ago, I watched a documentary, and what changed the story of this young lady was just because because this young lady said that at the third floor, in the next 5-10 minutes, she would have probably ended it all. But somebody just made a little comment about how she dressed for that day and complimented. Enough was what it was. And this young lady probably didn't push further with that whole idea. So,
like in our field of practice, what are some of the challenges we face as mental health practitioners?
as I admit, there are a lot of challenges that we have encountered. Topmost, I will often talk about literacy level. Yeah, because the awareness is not there. So when people even really do need the service, they may not even look for it. They will do other things. Finally, they will come at a state that become very difficult. So mental health literacy, though, which is also serve as a challenge for we as practitioners. Because when people don't appreciate that what they are going through, there's help, they may not come to you. They'll come to you last minute. Then we have the issues of limited professionals. So the professionals are greatly not available. So psychiatrists, psychologists, psychiatric nurses, community mental health officers, very few in our jurisdiction. Then also that concept of infrastructure. Even though I will acknowledge what the Mental Health Act said, deinstitutionalization. Let's try to manage the people within the communities. But there are some people that may need some institutional engagement to support them. Do we have them? Not readily available. That can also serve as a challenge. Sometimes even the logistics to practice becomes difficult. There are some people that don't even have space to practice. They have space, but when it comes to other logistics in terms of medication, especially the psychiatrists, these are medications that are readily not available for them to practice. So that can also become a challenge in there. Then that whole concept of funding support systems. Because when it comes to funding, we are made to understand that in Africa, just about a percentage of the health budget often is devoted into mental health. Yes, Ghana will probably have done a bit, but I'm not sure we have gone beyond anything more than 5 or 10% of the health budget towards mental health. So what it means is that funding actually affect our practice also as well. And then sometimes stigma, discrimination, all of these affect the services that we provide, because somebody is coming to the mental health unit and people are looking at the person another way. But the same person is going to the diabetic clinic and nobody talks about it, anything about it. So why are we? So the stigma can affect. Sometimes does affect how much people appreciate what we do as professionals. But the reality is that when people come to the point of they're able to break down these barriers and go all out and look for support, many of the times it becomes very, very, very helpful for them. And
despite the fact that we have challenges, but have there been any recent advancements in our mental health sector? Recently, have there been any initiatives that have been put in place to boost this sector?
Yeah. From government level to CSOs level to the international community level, just to enhance mental health. So you see that even from the international perspective, come to look at the SDGs, there is a focus on mental health. You know that the whole concept of health is under SDG 3, but SDG 3.4 talks about mental health. So it means that there is that new energy that has been injected to say we could have an SDG 18 and can say that mental health become that SDG, and we'll call it the cross-cutting SDG, because you are talking about quality education, you are talking about poverty and hunger, you are talking about female empowerment, you are talking about food security. Who are those to do this? Human beings. So if we want human beings to be able to achieve the SDG, mental health must become a cross-cutting SDG, of course, to be able to arrive at. So come to our local environment. Ghana has the best law when it comes to mental health, possibly in Africa. Maybe I haven't read so much, but at least listen to commentary. Our mental health act is top-notch. That we have been able to come out and have a document. That is a progress. That's progress that has been made at that point. A lot more people are venturing into the area of psychiatry. It's not like those days. Possibly years ago, we had 10 psychiatrists for a population of 20 million. Today, the numbers are changing. Possibly those days, we didn't even find psychologists in our hospital setting. That has changed. Since 2012, Ghana Health Service, the Ministry of Health, has been very deliberate after the advent of the Mental Health Act. When I started advocacy almost 8 years ago, you knocked offices and people didn't even listen to you. But today, the same people are calling you. Can you give us a talk on this? And it's about mental health. People are beginning to appreciate it. And some of the CSOs are also beginning to mainstream mental health as part of their programming. So these are new advances that we are making. A lot of younger people are ready to do psychology, ready to do psychiatry, go into mental health. It wasn't so, but have ignited interest in many people, especially my former president in the Ghana Psychological Association. COVID came as a blessing, especially widows in the mental health field, because it was during COVID people have felt that have appreciated the role of the mental health practitioner in the health system. Individuals who are stressed can never be innovative. They will work to the root, and so that's why all of us need to prioritize mental health. And so these are the new dimensions, and the advent of mental health, the World Society have created more awareness, and people are very deliberate about it.
Tomorrow is World Mental Health Day, and then a lot of education awareness will be put out there, and then let's be deliberate and also learn, and then be ambassadors of mental health too. But I'd like you to give us your last words as we are embarking on World Mental Health Day. What do you have to say to all of us, and then how to approach this particular issue?
So, just like we are saying, let's prioritize mental health on the website. I would say that prioritize mental health as a person. How do you prioritize mental health? Manage your stresses, connect better, and manage your time. We all have 24 hours. And so if we can manage time better, we'll deal with the stress. And if we deal with the stress, the aftermath of stress will be dealt with. So much burnout and pressure will be dealt with. So let's challenge ourselves, to reach out to many more people at the schools, at the mosques, at the churches, and at the organizational level. Let's leave no one behind when it comes to mental health. So mental health is total health. And so if you are mentally healthy, we are holistically healthy. And that we need to appreciate and prioritize mental health for yourself, for your family members, for your community members, and by extension, the entire nation.
Thank you very much, sir, for this enlightenment. We've actually all learned a lot. And I'm sure after today, your life will change, my life will change. We'll all appreciate mental health more. And then how we see people, what we say to people, and all of that, we know they affect them so much. Suicide, drugs, those things shouldn't be our last resort. Let's come. There are people to talk to, there are psychologists, there are psychiatrists.